talking and
Yep.
it will do its thing.
Okay.
So,
Very good.
it says it's
Hi,
setting up.
Roxanne.
Okay. Hi, Susan. Welcome back. We are talking more about our juicing January
Yeah.
um, extravaganza.
Juicy
So,
January.
yes, ma'am. So, I have
Right.
a question though for you.
Yeah.
First of all, tell us how you came into juicing. I know we left off at a in the last Zoom. I know we left off at the asparagus
The
and beets.
asparagus
Yeah.
concoction.
Yes. But
Yeah.
how did you get into juicing? And maybe I
Right.
asked you this in the previous video, but I figure this
I
is
don't
a
think so. I don't think
okay.
so. But a good question
Hmm.
because I wouldn't naturally like I always ate healthy. I was always very interested in it. And I did not come from that kind of family. Like
Hmm.
I remember in the 70s, right, growing up, and I heard about yogurt. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Like everybody's talking about yogurt. And I
Hmm.
asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, can we get yogurt? She's like, no, you can't get that yogurt. I'm like, why? Just that hippie food. Like, okay. So yeah. So so I was on my own with this journey, and it was just an innate knowing that I had.
Hmm.
Anyway, and then I went into massage therapy. I had about a 25-year career and it loved it. It was great. And I knew to eat healthy, right?
Hmm.
But then I contracted Lyme disease and I was 51, right? And it hit me like a brick wall. And I went from being a deep tissue, massage therapist, which, you're an athlete after that amount of time, to absolutely flatlining and couldn't get out of bed and all of that thing. And after 4 years of Western medicine, antibiotics on off, none of that was working for me. And so I signed off on all of that and I went on my own health journey because I had seen so many miracles while I was doing massage therapy and studying all of that. I just knew that God would not abandon me with something that had no answers because the doctors were like, well, this is, you for the rest of your life. So at 55, they were like, sorry about that. And I was like, no, that's not acceptable.
Hmm.
And that's when I began to really dive very deeply into understanding the inner terrain of the body. Like, why is Lyme in my body? Why is it hanging around? I thought I was so healthy. I thought, I love my work, etc. And I began to understand that a lot of stress and just the environment that we were living in created a very toxic environment. And that if I attempted to clean that out, as I was hearing online, it's like, okay, let me try these things.
Hmm.
And I slowly began to understand what worked and what didn't. And then around, so that was like 2007 to 2011, I was, like doing the medication. And then from that point, from 2011 on, doing the holistic approach with superfoods and like whatever. If you told me to eat bark, I was eating bark, anything, whatever. It was so, Lyme was so awful um, to really manage, right?
Yeah.
And so, eventually I began to understand, and then I worked with a doctor. I became certified as a well, everything, like everything from colon hydrotherapy to flower essences, and eventually found the right detox plan for myself and the doctor, and an herbal structure that really worked to boost the inner terrain cleansing that I needed.
Hmm.
And every year, as I detoxed every year, I got better and better. And then I became certified in it because it was such a beautiful turnaround in my health. And then I wrote my book called The Gift of Lyme Disease and Co-Infections: A Healer's Journey to Healing Lyme, because I understood that Lyme had a gift. Like if I hadn't
Hmm.
had all the struggle with Lyme for all of those years, I never would understand my health at this level, like to
Mm-hmm.
really understand what's going on and how can I manage this. And I work with clients so that I can explain it to them like I could explain it to a third grader. Right. It's like no overcomplication, just basic. And we work with science, acid
Mm-hmm.
alkaline balance, 7.34. It's proven fact. That's what we need internally in our body. And if we veer off that, there's no such thing as disease. There's just too much acid, or, like you can be too alkaline. Hard to do that, but you can get too alkaline. But mostly when we don't feel good, there's too much acid in the body, and that's just sludge built up in the body. And so that's, I try and work very simple, really basic. You get outside, and it's hard for me at this time of year because I can't get out and I can't dig in the garden. Right. It's winter
Right.
and it's hard to get out, like not enough sunshine. So it's very challenging for me at this time of year. So I have to really double down on my health. And, I'm not always perfect at that either. So, that's how we've come to this uh, arena. So,
Yeah, no. I mean, that had to have been a scary experience to endure,
yeah.
going through, because I mean, as a nurse,
Hmm.
they don't tell you, we don't even discuss it
Right.
other than, oh, it's caused from a tick bite, you know,
Right.
maybe.
Right.
But
Right.
you learn of these things. And then,
Hmm.
so for me, um, when I left the hospital in 2020, and, in the midst of
Smart
all the
girl. Smart.
craziness,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I eventually worked on the holistic side of medicine,
Hmm.
and I learned a lot.
Right.
But one of the clients that would come in, and he had had a severe case of Lyme, and so bad. I mean, it was debilitating for
Yeah.
this man
Yeah.
physically.
Hmm.
He had the upper body strength, but he couldn't walk,
Right.
and nobody could diagnose him until he finally had, I think, it was a full panel of blood work. I mean, they ordered everything
Right.
and the kitchen sink to figure out
Hmm.
what was going on with
Right.
this gentleman. And then I think with the right treatments,
Hmm.
ultimately, hopefully, because he came to Florida from up north,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if he's still receiving treatments or not, because that was
Yeah.
several years ago.
Well, the treatments are like this. It's this loopy thing where while you're on the medication, you're feeling pretty good because it's tamping down the bacteria. But when you're off, it will surge again. And I had to do a lot of studying to understand that the spirochete is actually part of the syphilis family, and it's a corkscrew spirochete. So you're bitten by an infected tick. Not all ticks are, Lyme ticks, but the ones that are, you have to take it out where the mouth, right, meets the skin. You don't want to squeeze the body because then you're just squeezing all of the spirochetes into the body. And even so, the spirochetes will get in. They will stay in the bloodstream for about 8 to 10 days, where when you take antibiotics, it will address it right away. And then apparently you're good. Um, the medical system fooled around, long story for me. But it was preventable. And unfortunately, they were not sharp enough. As you say, no one's trained. And they're like, well, let's see if he gets sick. Oh, literally, they literally said that to me without taking the tick out. Anyway, so what happens is that after 8 to 10 days, this corkscrew spirochete will burrow into the bone, the cartilage, the brain, the organs, all the places medication can't go. Right. So then it will burrow in there and it will hide and it will form a cyst. And then as it's in the cyst, one spirochete will replicate 7, 8, 10, and then that will burst open, and then all of those spring forth. Right. So you
Mm.
have this endless cycle. And I came across an article. The first thing I came across was by Dr. Landerman out in California, where he was a dentist and he couldn't get over Lyme. And, he had family members that got over it. And he was like, why? And in his studies, he found that Lyme hides in the teeth that have been drilled, because once a tooth is compromised with a filling, it no longer naturally cleans itself out of the bacteria. So I had 9 mercury fillings from childhood, amalgams, because I'm a 50s child. And then I also had a root canal with a gold crown, but it was mixed metal. So that was acting like a battery on my gum. And so every time I bit down, I just bathed my body in a new thing of spirochetes. And I am very sensitive to medication. So I can't stay on long-term antibiotics, nor did I want to. And I also drew the line at having a port. I did not want a port of antibiotics because I knew that that would wipe out particular bacteria in my gut, which would never repopulate. And that was unacceptable. So I just kept searching and searching online. And I found things like teasel root, so that's like a very common roadside weed, and it's like a thistle, and it has these little hooks that come up around. And so the energy of that plant, when you make it into a tincture, that energy will coax the spirochete out of the hiding places. And then I would take Japanese knotweed, which is loaded with resveratrol, and it's a great antibiotic acting herb, and make a tincture of that. So I would take the teasel root followed by the Japanese knotweed. And then when you do tinctures like that, it's like a little bit over, steady, steady, steady over a long period of time. You have to be very patient, right? So when we juice and cleanse and clean up our diet, and we do these kind of little supportive supplements, I guess you would call it tinctures, they work together, and eventually your own immune system becomes strong enough again to take care of itself. And then from there, you have to maintain, because Lyme creates a lot of damage in the body, really damaged my heart and a lot of my immune system. So, and I'm a normal person. I enjoy wine and charcuterie and all of these lovely things that are so wonderful in life that I enjoy, especially with my family. But I can only go so far, and then my body will be like, nope, let's go. And
so my understanding with Lyme, because I really don't know a whole heck a lot about it, but it mimics other ailments.
Absolutely.
And it gets misdiagnosed all the time. So
Chris Christopherson was in an elderly home. They had it loaded with medication because he thought he had Alzheimer's, only to come to find out he had Lyme. And so when they treated him for Lyme, he recovered, and he was let go out of the Alzheimer's.
Yeah, so it really is a very debilitating
absolutely. With that, I was
events.
Yeah. It will it will kill it. I know people that it has killed. And for me personally, I ended up homeless. I couldn't work anymore. And by the graces of my family, they took me in for years. And they're like, they'd be like, oh, I thought you were so healthy. How come you're still sick all these years? And I'm like, oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Oh no. Oh,
that's okay.
Well,
it's okay.
Family, right?
Yeah. So still going strong.
Well, you look amazing, and I know how dedicated you are to eating properly and hot, as organic as you can, and with the juicing. Now, I have another question. What is that jar behind you with the red?
So last time we talked about it, I watched our last show, and I wanted to pick up where we left off. So this is my juice, right? So this is how I store it. I store everything in glass, no plastic ever, especially because I use my distilled water. So let's start there. Hold on. Remember we talked about all of the sludge that
the distilled
water. So that's what the bottom of the tank looks like.
Oh, wow. Wow.
How gross is that? Like that's raw sewage in there.
Ew.
It's that, and so that's one gallon takes 6 hours to make it, and it steams it, and then it will go drip, drip, drip. So then I take that clean water, and then I'll put. So I use a Vitamix. So I'll take the whole blender, and then I'll fill it up halfway with fruit. So this one is blueberry. I have mango, I have blackberry, and some raspberry, right? And then I fill it up. So I'll fill the blender halfway with the fruit, and then I'll fill it to the top with the distilled water, pulverize it, and then put it here. And I just drink that all the time, like every day, all day. And then with the grapes, I'll do the
Hmm.
same thing with the grapes. So I'll have one just grapes. So
Hmm.
this is a fruit blend, and then we'll have just grapes. And then sometimes I'll put banana. I love banana. And the best way to do the banana blend is make sure they're really, really ripe, put them
Hmm.
in the freezer, and then as you're ready to use them, take one out, keep it in the fridge, let it get softened, and then blend it. I don't like the a regular banana, like one that I would normally eat. That's not ready for blending.
Okay, so the more brown the banana peel is, the sweeter they
Yeah,
become. Yeah.
right. Put the whole thing right in the freezer. And then
Hmm.
when you're ready, just again, like I fill it up with the fruit, whatever fruit combination I like. I like berries for my thing. And then I will put a banana in with that, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
whatever berry blend. But I don't put the banana in with the grapes, and I don't put a banana in with the melons. I'll have melons separate,
Hmm.
and then I'll have grapes separate, and then I'll have my blend.
So I want to talk to you about the red grapes because
Hmm.
last week we spoke about how grapes and berries are low glycemic,
Yes,
right? So the
right,
red grapes specifically.
right.
So yesterday I had just purchased two big bags full of the red grapes
Yeah.
and put them in the big stainless steel pot
Hmm.
and like you suggested with tap water
Yeah,
and baking soda and
yeah,
the apple cider vinegar.
yes.
And I think they were in that water mixture for like 4 or 5 hours because I forgot
Hmm.
about them. I just put the
Right?
lid on the pot, and the
Yeah,
pot was on the counter, not the stove, but it was just sitting there. And
yeah.
I'd walk by, and I remember you saying you did a shoo shoo shoo.
Yeah.
So,
Really.
so
Right?
I was like, oh, I forgot to do that. So I'm like, towards the end, the last hour or whatever, I'm
Yeah,
taking the grapes off the stem,
yeah.
and I was like, okay, shoo shoo shoo. But I was
Right.
thinking of you
Yeah,
when I was
right,
doing
right.
that. So,
Yeah,
and I mean, they're so much better this way,
yes. Isn't
you
it
know?
amazing?
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And but when I dumped the water, you could see like the weird sort of like the water was discolored, and I know I didn't put that much vinegar in it, right?
Right,
But it was
right.
like a brownish, just
Hmm.
like dirty looking,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
And whatever was coming off the fruit, off the
yeah,
grapes. So
yeah.
whatever film that's sprayed over them,
I know.
was coming off. And then I rinsed them really good and
That's right.
um yeah, so but they're good.
And
They're really
yeah,
good.
and so with the grapes too, I
Hmm.
don't always right away blend it. I will store them in the glass jar, and once they're cleaned and stored in the jar, they last for a really long time.
Hmm.
And then, when I make the grape juice, like I'll make three, like three of these. I have like six of these in my fridge, like constantly rotating.
Okay.
And sometimes, like I don't know the magic to it, but sometimes the grape juice gets like effervescent, and it's like grape soda. I don't know how it does that.
It's
And at first I was like,
fermenting.
it's okay to drink.
It's like you're making your own kombucha. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
right.
your
It
own
is good.
wine.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the other thing to do too is take those clean grapes and put them in the freezer. And then you can eat them, and it's like candy,
Mhm.
like a ice pop or something like that
Oh
too.
yeah. They're
Very
so good.
refreshing.
They're so good.
Yeah.
It's like, like if you're in the grocery store and you're walking around and you buy a thing of grapes, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna have one. But it
Yeah.
leaves that sort of residue film
Yeah.
like in your mouth and your tongue's like,
Yeah.
It gets
Yeah.
really dry and funky.
Very, yeah.
So this, after you do this, after you clean them and soak them like this, I mean, that doesn't even happen. It's
Exactly.
amazing. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I love
Yeah.
that trick, that tip and that
Right.
trick. Yes.
It
Yes.
just changes the whole constitution of them.
Hmm.
So
It
they're
really
beautiful.
does.
And then too, when we're, like harvest season for grapes. So like the fall, there's an abundance of it, really great price. Sometimes you can get organic too. And so I'll freeze a lot. I'll clean them up. I'll put them in the zip bags, and then I'll freeze them. And then I'll take them out, as needed. Like now, it's like grapes are very expensive and they don't really look that great. So I have
Hmm.
my frozen grapes and I'll use those.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And well, right now down here it's strawberry season,
Hmm.
because we have like a ton of strawberry fields here in Florida. I mean,
Right.
and they're everywhere, and you go in the market and they're everywhere.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I shop at this one Amish market, and they have,
So
you would
lucky.
love it. They have the largest produce section. Like you walk in, it's like it's probably one third of the store is this
Amazing.
produce area. I mean, it's amazing. So,
Beautiful.
and, yeah,
Beautiful.
so and
I
the
love the
prices
Amish
are
culture.
really good. Yeah, the prices are really good. So,
So good.
compared to other
Right?
places. So,
Yeah.
um, anyways, and then you use a blender to
I
make
do.
your juice,
Yeah.
right? So, and
I have, I have,
I have
yeah.
that juice, the hands-free juicer, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing though. But yeah,
Yeah.
and I have a blender too, but you have a really awesome
Right.
one. So,
Yeah. I have the
really,
blender and,
hmm,
I have a juicer too.
hmm,
But for me, like I concentrate because of my Lyme and because I understand what I want to happen with with like my juices when I go on a juice cleanse. I want a stringent juice. I
hmm,
want it to be scrubbing my digestive tract because when we talk about the lymphatic fluid, that's a lipid. So you can't just drink water and have that dissolved. You need something that's very astringent to scrub that inner tract and open up the exits for like the metabolic waste and all of that acid to exit the body.
hmm,
So, but juicing, what you're doing, and I have an Olympic juicer and I love it. It's a bit more work, but that's for when you're doing your juices and you're really concentrating on greens, and that's a lot of alkalinity, which is wonderful as well.
hmm,
But that's different than what I'm doing with the berries, which is scrubbing the lymphatic fluid, right?
right,
Scrubbing, opening up the exits. So what we do when I take people on the juicing journey or when I'm doing it myself. So when you detox, it's a visceral thing. It's real. It's like wringing a tube of toothpaste. It's not something like you wash your hair and set and forget. It's a real thing happening. And I like to do things very aggressively because, like I don't have time. I want to get it done. I want to get, to the fun stuff. And so I can be, laid low with some of the symptoms, right,
hmm,
of detoxing, which could be vomiting, diarrhea, like really expelling all
oh
of
yeah,
this. And
yeah,
I don't mind that because I want to get well. Other people would be like, well, I got to go to work. I don't want to be in bed, like getting sick and all of that. And I don't want to experience these symptoms. And I understand that and I respect that. And there are times that, of course, my life has to align with that as well. So then you use the vegetables as a break, right? So think
hmm,
of the fruits, the low glycemic fruits, and as the gas, like you're going forward and scrubbing everything. And then when it gets too much, you're going to put on the brakes and you're going to have greens.
hmm,
Okay. So they're wonderful, very nourishing, but they're not the scrubbing agent, right?
hmm, hmm.
But you're bringing in the alkalinity, so you don't have any extreme health situation going on. You just want to get healthy. right?
Mm,
So for
mm.
you to have this, green drinks and combination and like really powerful alkalinity, it's perfect. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
so the juice that I made yesterday,
Hmm.
um, organic spinach, like two big handfuls of it, right?
Right.
Already washed everything.
Hmm.
Um, Celery. It, I buy organic as much as I can. So
Of
organic
course.
spinach, organic celery,
Hmm.
organic Italian parsley, like half of the bunch, not the whole bunch. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I probably could
Hmm.
have just done like a quarter of it and I would have
Yeah.
been fine, but I
Yeah.
wanted more of that sort of grassy, earthy, like
Yeah.
herbally flavor,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because I knew I was going to add pineapple to it. So I
Mm.
cut up a whole pineapple and I save the tops of the pineapples and then I'll
Yeah.
replant those in the ground because in maybe a year or two, a new little pineapple will pop up
That's so cool.
from the top. Yeah, so um, I don't know who is watching out there, but yeah, you can just save the tops of your pineapples and stick them in
Hmm.
the ground and over time, obviously they'll root and
Yeah.
produce a new pineapple. Um,
Excellent.
at least that's my understanding, and I have done it. So,
Hmm.
um, but anyways, so um, spinach, celery, parsley, cucumber,
Hmm.
like, and I peel off the skin of the cucumber because it's so waxy and kind
Yeah.
of just
Yeah.
funky, right?
Yeah.
So, but I did two cucumbers. I mean, this thing I have is pretty big. It
Yeah.
holds a lot.
Yeah.
And then I added the pineapple and green apples to it,
Hmm.
and then lemon. And
Nice.
that was the end of it. And it was really good. My mom came over this morning, and my mom, when I was like 3 or 4, when we came back from Hawaii, she worked at this health food restaurant
Hmm.
and called the Wildflower. And like
Love
they
that.
had like everything was so good. It was like
Mhm.
they had this,
Yeah.
well, we'll get into that later, but my mom was like the lead waitress at the juice bar.
Nice.
And she was telling me all these stories about, well, I used to make carrot, beet, and ginger and apple. And I'm like, that sounds really good, but I'm
Hmm.
right now I don't want any carrots.
Right.
I mean, I like them, but
Yeah.
I'm not in a carroty mood. But she said she and two of her friends, they worked together. They drank so many of those, their
Yeah.
skin turned orange. And I'm like,
Yeah. I
from the
I knew a
carotene.
woman, literally she showed me her palms were all orange. She drank so much carrot juice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's people who do that.
I was like, really? She's like,
Right?
yeah. So, like,
Yeah.
that must have been good.
I remember walking through the health food store one day and there was beautiful apples. I was in New York and New York is the empire. They would grow apples there.
Mm,
And it was a health food store, so they were not waxed and everything is super fresh. And I picked up, I forget what it was. It was like, I think it was a pink lady. I forget exactly what it was. And I could
yeah.
smell it. And the aroma was so beautiful. And all I could think of is like, when I eat this apple, I'm going to smell like this. It's like, but when I go through like Whole Foods, those
Mm,
apples are like a year old, and I keep smelling. I never smell. I have never come across an apple here in this area. I'm in Connecticut that
yeah.
has a fragrance. That's worthy of.
Huh, because, and I did hear that apples you purchase in the store are a year at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
old.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
it's
where?
so
I'm
bad.
like, oh man.
I know, I know.
So we gotta grow our own, I guess, like everything else.
Yeah, yeah, and or eat in season too, seasonally. Like they'll be in abundance and they'll be fresher. So
Hmm. True, true.
that's it's the
Yeah,
most.
it's funny because like down here, I mean, it's very seasonal here, even though it's Florida. But there's
Yeah,
stuff that they import from obviously, and they do that up there too. It's probably
yeah,
just everywhere. So I'm not
mhm,
saying anything new, but you can
mhm.
tell what's in season. Like
Yes,
like right now it's strawberry season here. I said
Right.
that earlier.
Right.
Um, and I want to say in like March or April, it's going to be blueberry season.
Yeah.
So, because we've
Yeah.
got a lot of blueberry farms here too,
Right.
and
Which
they
is
do really well.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, when it's not in season, like of course now, when I buy some of the fresh fruits, the blueberries, blackberries, I find the blackberries are pretty flavorful,
mm,
raw, but the raspberries they're big, but there's no real wonderful, luscious flavor with them. Same with the blueberries, but I'll still buy them fresh and put them in there. But I'll also get the frozen fruit as well. I
mm,
don't shy away from that because they pick that when it's fresh. A lot of it is grown hydroponically, so they're not putting in the chemicals, and then they preserve it. It's frozen, and it's like I find that to be okay.
yeah,
It's like
and I remember we were talking about the frozen blueberries
yeah,
from Wyman's,
Wyman.
and you
They're the
said
best
that,
because they're small, and
yeah,
then you have more skin, which has more
mhm.
of the nutrients, where the bigger ones are more sugar.
Okay, right, right.
Yeah.
And but anyways, I mean, it's all good. And I know too, we were going to talk about the one, I think it's a detox juice that you were talking, or maybe it wasn't.
Right. So
The beet
that's where we left off
and the app and the
last
asparagus.
week.
Yeah.
We were so
Yeah.
rude. So anyway,
Oh, I know the internet cut out. That was
I
just
know. It's
lovely,
just like,
right?
what? Anyway,
Hopefully it
so we're
doesn't
back,
today.
not deterred. So, right. So, and I just want to point out too, like oxalic acid is, some people have sensitive kidneys. If someone has a disease, um, some people have a hard time with strawberries and beets and stuff. So you have to know your body, right?
Mm,
In these
mhm,
certain realms, right? So
mhm,
that said, this detox juice. So we talk about beets, and we just take the raw beet, the red raw beet, cut
mhm,
it up. And when you cut a beet, the juice is running all over everything. That's inside your body, going all around, even into your eyes, cleaning out all of this garbage, right? So you're going
mm,
to juice the beet,
mhm.
some asparagus, and they can go together in the same cup. You're going to put them together in the same cup, and you'll have to test it to see what your flavor tolerance is, because this is very strong. These are very strong
Mhm.
components.
Okay.
So you juice the red beet, juice the asparagus, and then mix that up. And as you're sipping that, you will eat a green apple. Slice up a green apple. Skin, can be on there. Add
So
whatever.
you do you blend the two together or do you drink them separately?
You blend them together,
Okay.
right? So
But
you
you
got your
eat an
juice,
apple
right?
and
Yeah,
drink the juice, the
exactly,
drink the beet asparagus
exactly,
juice.
right. So you have your juicer, and you're putting in the beets and the asparagus, and that's going into your thing, into your cup. And then you're going to slice an apple and then sip the juice and eat the apple.
Hmm.
Apples are very detoxifying for the body, for the gut as well.
And that's it. That's the
Right. That's it.
detox.
Do that for like 3 days. And it's very strong.
Hmm.
So,
Now, are you doing anything else in those 3 days, or is this just it? I mean,
well, when
are you
whenever
eating? Are you not eating? Are you just juicing for
you
the
you
detox?
yeah, with that's very strong. So I would have salads with that. And in the salads, I would also have avocado, which is a fruit, and
Mm,
I would have cucumber, which is a fruit, right? So those kind of like light and fruity things. Personally, I love iceberg lettuce. I know it gets a bad rap. Everybody thinks it's not nutritious, but I
mm,
think it's fabulous. And I remember reading to a recent study where they're like, no, actually, iceberg lettuce is excellent. So I love a nice juicy iceberg, and then arugula. I like an
mhm,
arugula salad, that kind of thing. Um,
mhm,
if you have wildflowers, like if you're so lucky in your farmer's market there,
Mm-hmm.
The right time of year, fresh
Yeah.
flowers in your salad would be amazing.
Nasturtiums when they're in
Mhm.
seed. I mean, there's
Yes,
yeah. And then the
peppery
what are the little purple like they're
violets,
like pansies,
pansies,
I
violets.
think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. I had
Yeah.
avocado earlier today. It was yummy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to hit avocado just right. I don't know. It's hit or miss up here. So
Oh, well, we grow them down here too. So
yeah, lucky.
I'm not
Very
trying to
lucky.
rub it in. No.
Right. I know. I know. It's all good. It's all
So,
good.
um, and then
But
the juices that you do regularly, I know you do the grapes and
yeah,
the berries,
all the time.
and then you add the distilled water to that blend
Always.
to stretch it out longer, or just
Well,
rather than
because
just the grape, because that would be a lot of just grape, right?
exactly, and it's too thick, you
Yeah.
know. So I know I like a particular kind of consistency,
Mm-hmm.
like it's not too thick. If I
Mm-hmm.
just do blueberries and I could put a little, like I don't really put that much water in when I'm doing this kind of blend, but I don't like it super super thick. I don't want it like a sherbet. I want it
Right.
drinkable, you know. So you just do it to the consistency of what you like.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is
And
all just
distilled water.
always distilled water. I like that because it just pulls out, I think pulls out all the nutrients from the fruit and just it's great. And as it goes through the body, it will pull out the toxins from the body. And like that's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing too is that when I work with people, I like to also work with like the blood type diet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of controversy about that, but I personally have received great benefit from it, but I'm not so rigid with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like so I'm a B blood type, and I have my little list here of what's highly beneficial and then what's neutral. There's a big neutral list, and then there's an avoid list. So on my avoid list, it's like coconuts, persimmons. I don't think I've even had a persimmon. Pomegranates, which I love them. So they only come out like this time of year. So I'll have the pomegranates, but I'm respectful about it, and I only have like this time of year. Prickly pear, don't know what that is. Rhubarb, don't even like it, and star fruit, never had that. So everything else I can have.
Mm.
And so if someone is doing juicing, think about those kind of things, like
Good to
on your
know.
right
Yeah.
as you go along your journey. There's also, like we also deal with nightshades. Now, nightshades, especially for someone who has Lyme disease, you want to avoid them. That's like potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, that kind of
Eggplant, but
eggplant,
no eggplant. Would that
right?
be squash too?
Let's see. No, I don't see squash on the list. Garden huckleberry, like eggplant. Let's see. Pimentos, kind of like those, and olives.
Well,
um,
pimentos, that's the red pepper, the red bell pepper.
exactly. Yeah,
You
but I
know?
like the olives.
Yeah,
I,
I do
I
too.
love olives. Like, oh, love olives. Olives are great. Yeah. you know
Yeah.
so again, all of this little minutia, like little nitpicking and stuff, it's like, where are you on the scale of like health? Are
Hmm.
you just beginning? Are you just like taking maybe a week to just kind of fluff up your liver, right? Because
Hmm.
the liver is a big detoxifier in our body. And if it get clogged, then the bile doesn't, come from the gallbladder to digest the food well enough. And then you get into all of this murky, kind of
Were you telling me a story about some lady doing a cleanse and she was like so into this cleanse that part of her liver was like
well, that was
coming
colon
out or
hydrotherapy.
something?
So I'm also certified in colon hydrotherapy because why not? And that was she was doing coffee enemas to such an extreme, right? To such an extreme that literally chunks of her liver were coming out because coffee enema will make the liver spasm And a lot of people use that to get the flukes out of their liver, right? So that then you're getting into parasites and yeast and fungus and that kind of thing. It's like, this is all like, where are we going with this? How big, how big or how small? It can be very overwhelming. So that's,
Well,
I,
we're not, well, I'm not doing a coffee enema. I don't know
no,
about.
no, no. But a lot of people, when they really want to thoroughly detox,
Mhm.
right? They will do enemas with the juicing to like really clean out the whole digestive tract, because it goes from your mouth to your anus. The whole thing counts.
Right, right.
You know, it's all
There's
interwoven.
there's a facility here where they specialize in colonics, and
Hmm.
that's all they do.
Hmm.
And apparently they're very well known and highly recommended to go there. Just
What's the
it's
name of it?
don't ask me because I've never been. I know where it is,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
but anyways, I'll find out and I'll get that to you. But
yeah,
they it's a husband and wife team, and I think their son runs it now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um,
It's so simple.
but
It's just very simple.
a
Like,
lot of
yeah.
really amazing things, from doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's all health. I mean, and I
Hmm.
will say this, as a nurse,
Hmm.
there is nothing glamorous about being a nurse. And I
Right.
have to say, thank goodness for rubber gloves, right?
Absolutely.
Because
You betcha.
Lord knows, you
Right.
guys, you might want to know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
But
not
that's the
for
thing.
this
Like,
space.
when you really get down to it, you just have to respect the whole, beautiful system that we have
Hmm.
been gifted with.
Hmm.
That, when we understand it and don't get all like, ew, like I do colon
Right.
hydrotherapy. It's like
Yeah.
hosing out people's intestines. And we
Yeah.
look at it in a tube. We view it. It's like, oh, there goes a Barbie shoe that you swallowed when you were 3. Yeah. Oh, there's the penny, like serious. All this stuff gets impacted in the colon.
Mm,
So
mhm.
if people have a very distended abdomen,
Yeah.
that could be impacted fecal matter. It's not
Mm,
fat that's packed in fecal matter. And that is where all of the parasites and everything are harboring infested. I
yeah.
think, who was it? Who's that actor? That old John Wayne. I think they said like when he passed, he had like 40 pounds of fecal matter in his
Mm,
distended belly,
mm, mm.
worms,
Yeah.
worms. But anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
And then we talked about recipes too. So there's like some great little, like superfood. Oh, it looks backwards there. But anyway, it's
oh,
called.
it's regular. When you hold it
Is it?
up, yeah, I can read it.
Okay. All
Superfood
right.
smoothies.
Like
Yes.
I got this, like in one of those discount, job lot kind of thing, and they have
Mhm.
all the books that are being sold out. It was, a couple dollars. And it has some great, like fruit punch or coconut, apple with broccoli. Would you? They have
I
one
don't
called
think
red
so.
velvet cake that has red beets, the white mulberries, cacao powder, sweetened almond milk, so you can get green goji tea, raspberry almond, banana fennel, citrus aloe, rosemary orange, chocolate kale, green tea pear, so just get a couple of these little books,
Hmm.
healing tonics, right?
Hmm.
Juicing for life, you know,
Oh
and then,
yeah.
then pretty soon you'll find what you like, and
Mm.
then that's what you work with.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean, right now I'm having fun getting used to this juicer that I have.
yeah,
And anyways, it's fun to stick everything in and
it's beautiful.
experiment and see what comes out. And
Yeah,
anyways, it's nice to
it
play
is.
with your food.
Exactly. And like when you're doing, like for me, when I do my fruits, after a while you get tired of the fruits sometimes. So then yeah,
Yeah.
I switch to a more alkaline, more green with the spinach and everything. And I know like cilantro is super cleansing, parsley very detoxing, very cleansing. So it's even more exciting for me when I'm using these food components, when I understand the benefits that I'm receiving from, not just parsley. Oh, parsley is detoxing,
Mhm.
it's and when you study those things and understand that, it's even more beautiful. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. No, I love parsley. And it's really good. And this is something I make. Um, Parsley, garlic, like a ton of garlic,
oh, yeah.
ton of parsley, throw
Mhm.
it in the bullet, olive oil, lemon juice, and salt.
Mhm.
And um, oh my gosh, you can put it with any like food that you're like pasta is really good with pasta.
Absolutely.
And I mean I don't eat meat, but you could put some on, I'm sure it would be really good on a steak or even
Yep.
chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely.
potatoes, yeah. So
I'll do a
um
pesto like that. I put in the basil,
mhm.
parsley. Let's see, how do I do it? I'll do arugula,
Arugula. Yeah.
arugula,
Hmm.
parsley, cilantro, um, basil, and then like a whole head of garlic, lots of garlic, and then
Hmm.
the salt. I don't put any lemon juice in. That's a good thought. I could try that.
Yeah.
And then the high quality olive oil.
Yeah.
And I make that. My family was like, Mom, it's time for some more pesto, and I make the containers and then I put them in the freezer
Mhm.
and they love it. And I'll just put that on, like if I'm hungry, I'll just, open the fridge, I'll take a piece of celery and just put some of that on and eat that.
Yeah. Yeah. And garlic is so good. So
So good. So
um
good. Yeah,
and cilantro, I love cilantro.
very good. So
Yeah.
and then too, so the particular it's very laborious to make it because with the basil and the cilantro and the parsley, you have to pick all the leaves off. So one thing I learned with, like cilantro is very, very delicate. So if you're cleaning that, it's quick. It's a quick zhuzh because one day I left it in the bowl and it completely dissolved. Like
Oh boy.
it just melted. It just disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
So knowing, the different temperaments of the
Hmm.
veggies that we're using,
Yeah,
pretty
definitely.
critical. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So,
Well, so maybe next time we'll talk more about um, the cleanse, maybe a parasitic cleanse. We can
right.
discuss that on the next
Yeah,
show
yeah. Right.
and different things to do for that.
Right. We'll do that and heavy metals.
Heavy
How to
metal
get heavy
detox.
metals out.
Well, cilantro helps with that.
Yeah, yeah. But an
So,
added thing, you can use zeolites. Like I
mm-hmm.
like a liquid zeolite,
Mm,
because that's a mineral that has holes in it, and so it will suck in like the heavy metals to that, and then just carry it out the body,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so like that. Good.
Excellent. Well, thank you
Right?
so much for being
Mhm.
here. And then tell us how can people find you
Oh,
and
okay.
how can they purchase the book you wrote?
Oh, thank you. So
Yes.
you can contact me. Let's see. I have my show on Grassroots Warrior Network on Rumble, and you
Mhm.
have to spell it out: Grassroots Warrior Network, the whole thing. And then my name, Susan Chan. And then, but I also have email, which is Suzen, Suzen, because my last name is Chan. That means Zen meditation. So I gave myself that name, Suzen, health, HEALTH, coach, COACH at gmail.com. And whatever, you can put juicing in the subject or Lyme or, whatever you want to talk about.
Mhm.
And I pick those out and I will respond to you. We'll have a conversation.
Yeah. And I'll put those links in the bottom of this, once I
Thank you.
edit everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I'll put your
Great.
links in the bottom,
Great.
or I should say below not
Right.
in the bottom, but below the video in
Yeah.
the
And
description. Yeah.
I do have my book, Gift of Lyme Disease and Co-infections. So this is, I wrote that to be kind of like for somebody who can't sleep at night or you're struggling, you can't have answers. It's just on your nightstand and you can just open it anywhere and you will get an answer. And I just really worked very hard to make it as streamlined as possible and just basic and
Mhm.
like think like a healer, how to think like a healer. And it works for not only Lyme, but all chronic disease, you know.
Nice,
So
nice.
there's that.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you so much, Susan, and I love having you on here, and
Great.
um, so I learn a lot, just like everybody here, um, and we all appreciate you and your knowledge. So
Thank you.
love it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
And I
much.
appreciate you, Roxanne. All right.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Okay.
Till next time.
Yes, ma'am.